Imitation foods, the unrivaled alternative or a nutritional nightmare. Join us as we uncover the truth behind whether foods like wasabi, imitation crab, and/or margarine is worth the fake. Margarine became a popular alternative to butter in the 60s. The spread, which is designed for baking and melting on foods, is made from vegetable oils that are processed to remain solid at room temperature. For years, this was considered the healthier option. But with time and research, it became clear that the hydrogenation process that chemically alters vegetable oils can be detrimental. Often, it causes unhealthy trans fats to be added to the equation. According to the Cleveland Clinic, these trans fats can raise bad cholesterol levels, lower good cholesterol levels, and possibly increase the risk of heart disease. That's not exactly what you want from your morning buttery spread, is it?
You're the margarine of evil.
For these reasons, margarine products should be avoided. This is particularly true of any margarine product that includes the words hydrogenated oil or partially hydrogenated oil in the ingredients list. There is no denying that maple syrup is one of those foods you shouldn't overconsume. After all, it's pretty much just sugar in a bottle. But the issue here is less about maple syrup as a whole and more about imitation maple syrup. Believe it or not, the vast majority of the syrups lining supermarket shelves aren't made from the sap extracted from maple trees. Rather, bottles that state simply syrup are more likely to be made of corn syrup in artificial colors. The detriments in selecting a pancake syrup in place of real maple syrup are twofold. First, pure maple syrup derived from actual trees contains plant-derived vitamins and minerals including manganese, riboflavin, and copper. While it also may be chock full of sugar, it's a more natural version that delivers health benefits and polyphenols, including 9 that are unique to maple syrup. Second, syrups made of corn syrup and artificial flavors and colors are a more processed food that may carry health risks due to the ingredients included. Syrup as a whole should be limited to an occasional pancake or waffle breakfast. And when you do decide to indulge, make sure you're using real maple syrup and not the fake stuff.
Syrup, maybe syrup, something like that?
Sure, Kraft Singles, Cheese Whiz, and queso made from big blocks of Velveeta may all taste delicious and provide a sense of nostalgia from your childhood. But let's get one thing straight. These cheese products aren't real 100% cheese. The bright neon colors should be an obvious telltale sign they're packed with artificial ingredients. Plus, their ability to melt, spread, and drip is a little bit too perfect to be real. If you've ever tried to make queso from a block of cheddar, you know it's not quite as easy as good old Velveeta. That's by design. Neon cheese products have been engineered to resist melting to a point. When the ideal temperature is reached, they liquefy perfectly. While American cheese and other cheese products do include cheese as part of the ingredient list, they also consist of other byproducts like additives, emulsifiers, and artificial flavors and colors.
Fake, 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 fake.
Fake cheese is also packed with a gnarly amount of salt. A serving of real cheddar cheese contains about only 7% of the daily recommended intake for sodium, while a serving of American cheese contains a whopping 19% in comparison. As a whole, opt for real cheese, made and derived from animal milk, aged to perfection, and containing fewer artificial flavors and ingredients that can contribute to negative health outcomes. You may think you're doing something good for yourself when you grab juice from your fridge instead of a soda, but unless that juice says 100% juice on the packaging, it might have about the same amount of sugar as that soda you're eschewing.
Fruit juice is loaded with sugar.
In fact, nutritionist Robin Miller told MASH that most fruit beverages that aren't 100% juice are high in sugar and calories, low in nutrients, and don't offer the fiber found in real fruit to help fill you up and keep you satiated. Even 100% juices contain lots of sugar, but they're redeemed by the fact that they contain more vitamins and minerals than their imposter peers. The reality is, you're better off consuming real fruit than fruit juice in any form. This is due to the fiber content and increased levels of phytochemicals. But if you're trying to choose between 100% fruit juice and a juice that hides its real percentage on the back of the label, always go for the more legit option. Just as a juice that fills the toot 100% on the label, any wheat bread that lacks the same 3 little numbers isn't going to offer the same health-related benefits as those that do. In fact, wheat bread is simply bread made from wheat flour. Even white bread is made from wheat flour after all. So without the differentiation of 100% whole wheat or 100% whole grain, grabbing a loaf of wheat bread is really no different than opting for a loaf of white. Trust us, it does make a difference.
Lot of action in the wheat jungle this time of year. People smuggling wheat to make fresh rosemary bread for Thanksgiving dinner.
When whole wheat bread, 100% whole wheat bread to be clear, is milled into flour, the bran and germ aren't removed. This leaves the fiber in these parts of the grain intact. Basic wheat bread, on the other hand, doesn't include these important parts of the grain and lacks the satisfying fiber found in 100% whole grain products. Veggie straws sound like the natural choice when it comes to choosing a healthy snack for yourself and your family, right? After all, veggies are good for you, so chips made from veggies should be a better option.
To Veggiesaurus Lex Veggiesaurus!
And that's sort of true. Well, not the Veggiesaurus part. But when you consider the fact that a potato is a vegetable, and when you look at these chips, the first two ingredients listed are potato starch and potato flour, followed by canola oil or other vegetable oils. This technically is better for you than chips, right? While, yes, there are small amounts of other veggie-derived ingredients like spinach powder, tomato paste, and beetroot powder, these are found in limited amounts. And when the nutrition facts are stacked up against other popular chips like Lay's classic potato chips, they only have 30 fewer calories and 3 fewer grams of fat per serving, but they feature 50 more milligrams of sodium. Your better bet would be to nosh on real veggies or to select a chip cut from fresh produce like sweet potatoes, beets, or even kale. These are likely to retain more of the nutritional benefits than a highly processed veggie straw. For the most part, imitation vanilla is a perfectly acceptable and more cost-effective alternative to using real vanilla. First of all, vanilla is used in scant amounts as a flavoring. Think about it, even if you're whipping up a whole cake, you're unlikely to use much more than a teaspoon of vanilla. It's not a food you're turning to for significant nutritional impact. Second of all, real vanilla extract is made from an orchid and must contain at least 100 grams of vanilla bean per liter. This makes it a comparatively expensive choice when it comes to baking a few dozen vanilla cupcakes. Fake vanilla, on the other hand, is made from vanillin, which is a naturally occurring compound of vanilla beans that can be engineered in a lab. This means it offers the same flavor as pure vanilla at a fraction of the cost. The other ingredients used in this process are benene, which ultimately makes imitation vanilla a good choice when you're looking to cut a few corners as you make your favorite desserts. This may seem like semantics, but it's an important differentiation to make. Milk is derived from animal sources like cows, goats, and sheep. Imitation milk, or various milk alternatives, is most frequently derived from plant sources like soy, oats, almonds, or coconuts.
It's like almond milk that's been squeezed through tiny holes in living cows.
There are healthier and less healthy versions of each, and there are certainly good choices and poorer choices for individuals. For instance, highly sweetened or flavored milk or milk alternatives like chocolate milk or chocolate soy milk are generally going to be less healthy choices when compared to unsweetened, unflavored options. Likewise, someone who's lactose intolerant is better off skipping cow's milk entirely. Whole plant-derived milk isn't just a good imitation milk option for vegetarians, vegans, or those cutting back on animal products. It's even a great option for people looking to expand their palates and try new things. Just be aware that every type of milk available has a slightly different flavor profile. Each is best used in different applications, so brush up on vegan-friendly milk options and make your choices wisely. Frozen dairy desserts aren't the same thing as ice cream. However, they look the same, taste very similar, and are often found right next to real ice cream in the freezer section. Largely, they're a perfectly acceptable choice when it comes to picking a sweet treat. Of course, it's important to mention that neither ice cream nor frozen dairy desserts are going to win any top in health awards. But you're not buying these for their health status, you're buying them as a treat. First, it's important to understand that ice cream is a product held to specific standards by the FDA. First, it must contain at least 10% dairy milk fat, and second, it can't contain more than 100% overrun and weigh no less than 4.5 pounds per gallon. That's a lot of semi-confusing words to say that manufacturers can't whip too much air into the ice cream base. Ice cream should be creamy, and not airy after all. That means any ice cream-like product made from non-dairy milk or that has a too-light consistency can't be considered real ice cream. That doesn't mean it can't be made from high-quality ingredients or have a delicious ice cream flavor. Many imitation ice cream products are actually lower in calories and fat and have been made from plant-derived milk to be enjoyed by those who are vegan or struggle with lactose intolerance. So in reality, there's no reason not to enjoy them. With the popularity of Meatless Monday, the increased numbers of people following a vegan diet, and the trend to reduce consumption of animal products for health or lifestyle reasons, it's no wonder that there are lots of imitation egg products on the market. Many are simply used as binders during baking, but some options can be scrambled or fried and enjoyed alongside toast and fruit for breakfast. As a whole, egg alternatives are perfectly healthy and fine to enjoy in place of the real thing. There are trade-offs, of course. For instance, vegan eggs tend to be lower in fat, calories, and cholesterol. However, they also tend to be higher in sodium and lack the same level of protein as chicken eggs. It's really a matter of personal preference and the decision to choose one over the other for dietary reasons. This may come as a shock, but if you've only ever eaten wasabi in the United States, chances are you've never actually eaten the real thing. Real wasabi is grown in Japan from a very specific wasabi plant. On the other hand, fake wasabi is typically made from a European horseradish plant mixed with other ingredients and dyed green to look like the real deal. The real option is rarely ever found outside of Japan because the plant is so expensive to grow and cultivate. Fake wasabi, on the other hand, is cheaper to make and package, and it keeps for a longer period of time. Its ingredients are also primarily horseradish and food dye, which ultimately aren't going to raise any eyebrows from a health-related standpoint. So go ahead and keep enjoying the wasabi at your local Japanese restaurant, but if you ever make it to Japan, test the real wasabi to see how it measures up to what you've grown accustomed to.
Wasabi!
Oh my god, Bernie!
It should come as no surprise that imitation crab meat isn't real crab. It's another one of those foods that advertises its fake status right up front. And really, there are pros and cons to eating this meat.
Do you know if this is imitation crab?
First and foremost, while imitation crab isn't real crab, it does incorporate real fish. But this fish is highly processed, not all that differently from how different meats are processed in the hot dogs or sausages. This means that it's ultimately packed with artificial flavors, colors, and additives before it is packaged, ultimately making it a less healthy choice when compared to real crab. Of course, not unlike the cost difference between steaks and beef hot dogs, imitation crab meat is much more affordable than real crab and has a crab-like flavor that many people love. And if there's one population that may want to reach for imitation crab every now and then, it's sushi-craving pregnant women. Because this meat is pre-cooked, sushi made of imitation crab is safe to consume while pregnant, as long as you're sure there are no other uncooked seafood products in the items you order. As long as you're selecting products made from high-quality ingredients, the occasional imitation crab dinner is unlikely to be detrimental to your overall health.